Hey everyone, and happy Thanksgiving. This is Paul. I am one of the hosts here of the Multiplayer Gaming Podcast, and today I'm going to be recording this introduction here by myself because we have entered the holiday season of 2020. This is definitely one of my favorite times of the year, and it's always good to kind of recenter and readjust our mindsets on what we're thankful for and thinking about the various ways that we are all blessed. Since Todd, Josh, and I are going to be quite busy here these next couple of weeks, we are going to be restructuring our release schedule a little bit here through the end of the year. We are still going to be recording new content that will be released every Monday. However, in lieu of This Week in Gaming on Thursdays, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. And at least for this week, we are going to be re-releasing an older episode, which in this case is going to be when we had covered Rocket League. So this is one of my favorite episodes that we had recorded early on. It's actually the 5th episode that we had released. And I remember when the guys and I started this podcast, I always remembered hearing Mike Schur, who is the guy who was responsible for creating TV shows like Parks and Recreation and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And he had talked about how he wished he had the opportunity to record 10 episodes, throw them all out, and then start from scratch. And in our case, we were only able to record a couple of test runs, and then we started releasing. So it's still a little bit early on. You can definitely tell that we are still kind of learning some pacing, how we wanted to record the podcast. But I wanted to pick this episode because I remember this being one of the hardest times that Josh and I ever laughed while recording this episode. When Todd starts to read the description for Rocket League, it just led to Josh and I cracking up and just laughing so hard. You know, poor Todd, you can tell right off the bat when you listen to this episode that he was sick. You know, he sounds a little congested, and I remember we got started very late on this episode, and here Todd's just battling illness, up pretty late, you know, struggling a little bit with reading the description, led to some hilarious laughing by me and Josh, and so I hope that you guys enjoy that here. And also, you know, it started off a lot of running jokes. So this starts the jokes about how bad I am at Rocket League, despite putting hundreds of hours into this game. You know, Josh to this day still says that if I would just practice more with him, I would be better. But I have clocked hundreds of hours at Rocket League, still terrible, unfortunately, which is sad because I love the game. But you'll hear about how bad I am at Rocket League. You'll hear about how much Todd and Josh love it. You'll also hear some of the beginning running jokes about how sadistic Todd and I were in simulation games in our teenage years. So we talk a little bit about The Sims in the beginning. And, you know, I gotta say, in re-listening to the episode, Todd hit me with such a funny insult near the end of the episode when I say that I would marry Rocket League, and Todd told me that Rocket League deserves better, which, you know, is absolutely correct. And, you know, kudos to Todd. What a joke. What an insult. Totally deserved. Totally hilarious. And, you know, just as one final note, when we do get toward the end of the episode, we talk about how Rocket League is $20, and this was, of course, recorded back before it moved over to Epic Games. It is now, of course, free to play, and you'll hear us talk about how it was absolutely worth the $20, and if it was worth that, then how much more could it be worth now when you can download Rocket League for free? So anyway, hope you guys enjoy the episode. For those of you who never heard it, hopefully you'll find the episode entertaining. For those of you who maybe heard it before, maybe enough time has passed now in the last 9 months that maybe you'll find it interesting again. So that's it by way of introduction. Hope you guys enjoy it, and we will be back with you guys on Monday with a new episode. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Hello, this is the Multiplayer Podcast, Episode 5. The Multiplayer Podcast is where your BFFs talk over a new game every week. Will we like every game? No. but we'll bring you our honest, non-professional opinions. I'm your host, Todd, and as always, we're joined by our team, Paul.
Hello, everybody.
And Josh.
Hey, what's up, guys and girls? Don't forget the girl
good
gamers,
catch.
man.
Good catch. Yeah. This week, we are talking about Rocket League. If you've been living under a rock, Rocket League is kind of like Hot Wheels meets soccer meets the future. But before we talk about Rocket League, guys, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing excellent, Todd. Thanks for asking.
Good. All right, now that we got that out of the way.
Wait, what about me? You forgot about me.
Now that we got that out of the way.
You're always good, Josh.
Josh
is always good.
That's very
Josh,
true.
How are you?
I am awesome, man. I'm doing really good. Getting over a little bit of a chest cold. Maybe they heard it last episode, but I think I'm finally through it. I'm healthy.
You sound better than ever.
Thanks, Todd. I've been working on my voice a lot since we're professionals now. You know.
Yeah. Josh, what's been on your mind over this past week?
I'm not gonna lie, man. I've been kind of obsessing a little bit about the upcoming release of Doom Eternal. I remember playing the original Doom when I was a kid. I won't claim that I've played every Doom because there's been some really weird little offshoots here and there, and I'm not that big of a fan. But the Doom remake, what was it, 2016, 2018? 2018, I feel like. That remake was great. And then this one is getting so much hype right now. And since we are the multiplayer podcast, I was looking into the multiplayer mode that they're going to have. And on top of being just phenomenally awesome game, the multiplayer sounds really cool. So one person, it's 1v2. One person is the Doomslayer. The other two people get to pick one of like the stronger demons in the game to control those to fight the Doomslayer. So it's like the demons have to cooperate to try to kill the Doomslayer. The Doomslayer has to kill both demons within 20 seconds of each other to win.
Within 20 seconds of each other?
Yes.
That's interesting, yeah.
Yep, because the demons respawn. It's a 20-second respawn timer, so you have to basically kill them both within 20 seconds.
I guess it must be a relatively small map then.
I don't know what the arenas look like. They said there's like 6 different arenas to it. But I love like the non-traditional like multiplayer type stuff too. And anytime you get to like control like a monster or like a game character that is not like the main character, I think is like a cool twist too.
Right. And I've always loved the idea of like controlling the hero and the villain and like being able to do both sides of that.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm pretty pumped about it, man. It's comes out in like 15 more days. The single player is going to be amazing, but I'm really hoping to be able to talk you guys into the multiplayer aspect as well. If not, I'll just find new friends.
We're easily replaceable.
Oh, nice. All right. So I've been, browsing Steam, trying to find the next hot game, like what's standing out. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to look for free games. I want to find something casual, something I can just jump in and out of. And then I found Walking Simulator.
Oh, boy.
Here's the description for this game. The year is 2020. World War III and the coronavirus destroyed the civilized world. You were the last post carrier tasked to get parcels from point A to point B in the most barren and desolate places on Earth. Get ready to combat the weather, terrain, and gravity itself. Can you help humanity rebuild, or will this task be too much?
So it's Death Stranding.
I haven't played that game.
That's a burn.
But they're like how there's always that joke about like his book bag, like, or backpack being like, way too big and super wobbly. The first like visual in this game is the guy carrying an insanely large backpack and it wobbling. And that's the first thing I thought of was Death Stranding.
I don't mean to slam that game, but when you said all that, that's exactly the game that popped into my mind. So.
Hey, and this is free to play.
Well, I just brought up the trailer here for the game in Steam, and this is a great trailer. It's filled with fake quotes, which I always love, and one of them says, "I want a refund, some guy on Steam."
Qualifies for the 2-hour refund policy, I'm sure.
Very positive with 120 reviews. So, it's the next hot thing.
This game's obviously a parody on Death Stranding. This is pretty hilarious. Free games on Steam are always a bit of a grab bag, but I'm always in. I'll try anything for free. There's some pretty hilarious stuff in here.
Yeah, so by next week, I will have an honest review of this game. And if I can survive gravity. Apparently.
I'm guessing this is just one player. I don't think this is a multiplayer game, right?
Yeah, it's single player.
That's hilarious. And now you've got me kind of wanting to try it. Yeah, I remember when my kids got all crazy about Goat Simulator. Like, have you guys seen Goat Simulator?
We downloaded the Xbox Pass for PC, and Goat Simulator was one of the games. And I was like, I've always wanted to play Goat Simulator. I'm in. I'm absolutely going to get it. So I downloaded it, loaded it up one afternoon. And I don't know when the game came out, but it's severely dated. And it's
a goat, Todd.
It's rough. Like you were a goat just ramming cars, people. It's like Tony Hawk for like destroying people's knees. Like you just smash knees and like make people fly across the map.
Yeah, I know the game's popular, and every time I go into the Google Play Store and I'm looking for a game on my phone, I'll take a look at like top paid games. It's always like in the top 15. Like people just love Goat Simulator, but admittedly I've never actually played it.
You don't know what you're missing, Paul.
I've played Farming Simulator. I've done the Euro Truck Driving Simulator. I've played a couple of those. I mean,
I have never played a simulator game. Like in
Sim
all
City?
honesty, that's not. I'm talking like a game that's like
it's
Goat Simulator, like walking
Simulator City.
Simulator City.
What about
I've never played it. Yeah, no, I've never played The Sims either.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I'm not interested in I don't know why. Like, it just doesn't click with me. Like games that like, oh, I'm just gonna like mimic life. I have to go to work and like, work for money and for food and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. That's not what I want when I want to sit down and game.
But it's like you can bring so much drama into it. You can have a kid with one lady and then like murder someone in the pool by removing the railing in the
Todd,
never mind. I'm gonna just skip past that.
Todd's a psychopath.
I was gonna say, we're learning some
Paul,
more about Todd.
Tell me you've never murdered anyone in Sims.
We have all waited for the person to go outside, and you build 4 walls around them, and they cry and pee their pants and die. Yes,
we have not all done this because I have not played this game. This is YouTube. Guys, I am learning way more than I wanted to learn right now.
Everyone who played The Sims has done that at some point. But no, like you get to do, cool stuff. You can, instead of real life, what you do, you get to like be an astronaut. That's dope.
So here's the review that no one asked for. Each week we review one game, and this week we are talking about Rocket League. Let me read a quick review from the publisher, and then we'll kick off this combo. From Psionic, Rocket League is a high-powered hybrid arcade-style soccer and vehicular mayhem with easy-to-understand controls and fluid, physics-driven competition. Jeez. Physics-driven competition. Rocket League includes casual and competitive online matches. Oh my goodness.
Do you need a 5-hour energy, Todd, or something?
I do. Rocket League is a high-powered hybrid of arcade style and vehicular mayhem with easy-to-understand controls and fluid, physics-driven competition. Rocket League includes casual and competitive online matches and a fully featured online season mode. special mutilators. I can't. I'm not. I don't. Mutators. I literally can't read today, guys.
This is the best game description.
What mutilators?
Okay. One last time.
Oh man. Okay.
Oh,
Sorry.
Rocket League is a high-powered hybrid of arcade-style soccer with vehicular mayhem, with easy-to-understand controls and fluid, physics-driven competition. Rocket League includes casual and competitive online matches, a fully featured online season mode, special mutators that let you change the rules entirely, hockey and basketball-inspired extra modes, and more than 500 trillion possible cosmetic customization combinations. All right, guys.
We did it.
Let's give it a 10 out of 10 and go home.
Done.
Done.
I know Paul agrees too.
Cast out.
I'll have to think about that rating a little bit, guys.
All right, Josh. What is this game all about? Actually, no. Paul.
Oh.
Paul, what is this game all about?
Okay.
Unbiased.
So, unbiased opinion.
Like Paul could be unbiased on Rocket League.
Rocket League is a game where you drive a car, and you hit a soccer ball, and you try to get it into your opponent's goal. You can boost, and if you're me, you just can't do any of this well. You just fly past everyone, and you miss the ball, and you lose every match because you're just terrible at it. But some people are actually pretty good at this game. I think we'll get down into more of the details later, but this is one of the reasons that I struggle with Rocket League, is that this game has very simple controls. It's literally you steer a car, you go forward or backward, and you can boost, and you can slide. That's literally about it. But the actual ability to master the game is incredibly difficult. You have to play the game a lot to get decent at it, and even then you pretty quickly learn that other people are still better than you.
And Josh, your biased view?
Rocket League is one of the greatest games ever made. And it's so funny to hear Paul talk about the controls in the moveset from like a different point of view, you know, because this game's got aerials, it's got dribbling. I mean, there's combos, there's positioning. We'll get into it a little bit more too. But this is one of my favorite games. I love this game, man, and it is super fun. I have a lot of hours in this game. I like to think I'm pretty decent at it. Paul has played with us a pretty good bit. Mm-hmm. You know, we did actually just discover that Paul is very good at demoing somebody. So that's if you are full boost and you run into an enemy car, it will actually blow up. And so we found out just the other night that Paul's really good at that. So
I'm very good at not just demoing the enemy cars. I'm very good at running into Todd. Because
oh my goodness.
I don't know what it is, but whenever Todd and I are facing each other, it doesn't matter if I go left or right or hit the brakes. I end up just plowing straight into Todd. But yeah, the demoing the enemy vehicles is an interesting part of the game, because in Rocket League, you're normally 2v2, 3v3, or 4v4. And if you demo an enemy vehicle, it's maybe like a 5-second respawn. So it gives you a temporary advantage over the enemy.
All right. So Paul's gameplay is obviously just ramming into people and blowing people up and, you know, clearing the ball when he can. Oh. Like, Josh, how do you play Rocket League?
Quite well, if I do say so myself. No, I love this game, man. I think it's highly technical. It's one of, like, I mentioned it last show, but I think this is one of the best sports games ever made. It's very accessible, like Paul said. The controls are simple. Anybody can drive a car. I mean, there's a throttle. You start driving, you hit this giant ball. Like, anybody can pick it up. But the skill level in this game is infinite. There is the control that you have over your car, and with the boost, you can actually like jump and fly through the air. Now you have limited boost, so you can't just fly around like a rocket ship forever, but you can literally like fly through the air and do some crazy things with this. So they call them aerials. There's guys that can keep the ball in the air from one end of the court to the other. I mean, it's ridiculous. If you go and you watch some of the pro videos on this, these guys are doing things that are just amazing. I don't watch a ton of esports, but I love watching a Rocket League match just because the skill level is just phenomenal.
And I think just knowing, like, once you play the game and you know how hard it is to do that, like, you just have so much respect for the people who can just fly through the air, carry the ball on like the tip of their car, and then do like a loop-de-loop and like just smash it into the goal.
Yeah, I've got hundreds and hundreds of hours in this game. I play at about a mid-diamond level. I've come close to champion before, and I come across people from time to time that just absolutely blow me away. And, and I think I'm pretty good at it, but then I come across somebody that's really, really good at it. And it's mind boggling to me. We played, so funny story. We thought we were really good. Me and a couple other friends, we played in a Rocket League tournament. We signed up for the Rocket League Open. We're like, hey, we're going to give this a shot. And we practice. We sign up for this tournament. We get absolutely boat raced by these teams because they are like professional teams playing in this tournament. It was the craziest, most humbling thing I've ever seen, man, because
they had a coach that was calling shots.
Yes. Yeah.
That's calling standard plays that they've practiced over and over and over, like a basketball team.
A coach that wasn't playing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a fourth player. So it was like 3v3, and then they had a fourth person calling plays.
It legitimately, they said, we're like, hey, who's the spectator? And they were like, that's our coach. And the coach was coaching them, like calling. We couldn't hear it, but he was like calling plays, and you could see it because one guy would like ride up on the wall and then like hit the ball over to the other side of the court. And then a guy that was riding that wall would hit it in the air. And then some other guy was flying like, halfway across like the map from the center and then would just spike it in. And we're just speechless because it's like, what just happened right there? And like I said, we're like mid diamond level players, and this is going on. It was insane, man. But it just shows you, this is why I love this game, because there is no skill cap on this game at all. Like if you put in the time and you put in the effort and you put in some training, you can see yourself progressing.
Which, like, I think it's kind of interesting. Like, a lot of people are like, esports, like, is it really a sport? But like, I think this is directly comparable to actual other sports, like NBA or like, basketball. You can be good at basketball in high school. You can be, okay at basketball in college, but then you get into the NBA and it's like a completely different game. Like, you're not going to hold a candle to people in the NBA. And I think Rocket League is the same, where like you have, people who are at high school or like even college level, which is like really talented. But then like, there's some people who are so much better than everyone else. And they're, Josh was saying it, there isn't that skill cap where people can be just insanely, infinitely better than anyone else at the game, or like than a regular person would be at the game.
Well, you're touching on something here, which is exactly my problem with Rocket League. Like, what I'm about to say will probably really surprise you guys. I think Rocket League is a great game. I really actually love Rocket League.
I'm surprised.
The problem is that I am so terrible at it, I can't play with you guys. Like, when Rocket League first came out, I know what drew me in is that every day on the front page of Reddit, it would get littered with all of these amazing saves and amazing goals. And I downloaded the game, loved it, played it a lot with Josh. Todd, you ended up buying it quite a bit later. And in the beginning, I felt like I could keep up. I was definitely the worst player, but I could focus more on goalie work and the defense. And as time went on, all of you guys got exponentially better. And I feel like I got 10% better. And the disparity of talent was just so great that I just felt like I couldn't play with you guys anymore. So I feel like it is kind of tough to play with friend groups unless you're all kind of at the same level.
Yeah, and I feel a little bit of that. Like we have some friends that are quite a bit better than us. And like, I'll admit Josh is better at Rocket League than I am.
Thank you, Todd.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And I feel that sometimes. Like I feel that when we'll be playing with one of our friends and like Josh and then myself, and I'll just be like pulling the team down. And I'll miss, a hit off the wall, or I'll miss like a goalie block. And like, it's obvious that like, if we're losing, it's my fault. And that's made me uninstall the game several times.
I mean, in your defense, not to, try to give you a big head here, but you have come a long way. Like Paul, I love playing with you guys, but Paul just finally got to the point where he's like, I'm not playing Rocket League anymore.
Yeah. It's too painful.
But it's like, that's the thing is it's like any other sport where, if I'm playing basketball and you quit and I keep playing for the next year and then you come back, like, I'm going to be really, really good at basketball. Whereas you didn't play for that long. So you're back to kind of when, or even a little worse than when you quit. Like Todd, I've seen Todd's progression like immensely, I mean, it's just one of those things where if you put in the time, you do get better. Like that's what I love about this game is like, you do learn to control the car. You do learn how to aerial, you do learn positioning and things like that. And so Todd has, I mean, he says he's pulling teams down, but not really, because Todd has reached that level where, he knows all of the technical aspects of the game and he knows the rotation, and everybody misses the ball. I mean, maybe the pros don't, but I mean, everybody else whiffs it from time to time.
Yeah. And I think that's an interesting point. Like if you have a friend who doesn't play or like, is worse, like with, every other sport, it's, you just change what position they fill. Like you don't put them as striker in soccer if like they're bad at shooting. Like you put them as like, midfield or defense, like depending on their strengths. And like, I think with Paul, doesn't have a great shot, but he can block. I mean, we talked, it's better. I mean, like we talked about this in the last podcast. You pick the square van of a car, and then you're decent at blocking, and like that's where you find your value on the team, just like any other sport. Like you'll have your niche, you'll have something that you're better at than like other areas, and like when your team's better than you just find like what you're best at and then just do that role.
And people can carry, like, that's one of the things we should probably get into, like the actual, like different game modes and some of the, the kind of strategy in this game or why we like it. And, maybe sometimes what doesn't work in it. But if you have a dude on your team that's really good, and the other two people aren't, like that one guy can make all the difference in the world. Like honestly, it's just one of those things. Skill level comes into play a ton, but in it, it's still a multiplayer game where you need to rely on your teammates at times.
Yeah, and one other thing as well is what kind of controller you use in this game will make a big difference as well. Did you guys ever try playing this game on keyboard?
One time, and then I quickly switched to controller.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have a controller when I first bought Rocket League.
No.
I just assumed everyone was playing this with mouse and keyboard, right? Like we're PC master race. This is why you play on PC. It's, so much fun. And this game is impossible to play with keyboard and mouse. I quickly learned that I needed to order an Xbox controller. So I think there was like a 3-day window when I was playing keyboard and mouse, and man, is it hard. You definitely have to play this game with a controller.
Yeah, I've heard there's people that play with mouse and keyboard, but I do not understand how that's even remotely possible with this game.
Yeah, and when you were talking about like different game modes, that actually really threw me for a loop, because I played a lot of Rocket League back pretty close to release, well over 100 hours. And when I came back into it, like my kids have gotten onto my Rocket League on occasion. I didn't realize that they added all these different game modes. And so when I just popped in, I just immediately clicked quick play, and it drops me into a game where there's like tornadoes and there's magnets and there's like all this mayhem going on around me. I had no clue what was going on. And at first, I thought this was just default Rocket League. I thought they just added all of these.
I was like, wow, they really changed this game up.
Yeah, I'm like, how do you play this like with esports? This is wild. Like, there's guys who would activate some magnet and just run straight into the goal, and then the ball would follow. So I was totally thrown for the first 2 games back, and then I realized, oh, they actually have all these other modes now that are totally different in the game. I don't even know how many modes there are. What's that mode even called?
That's Rumble.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rumble. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and that's basic Rocket League. So 3v3 with like special abilities that you can pick up, or I think you get assigned like while you're driving around.
Yeah, there's a timer and then they're just assigned to you randomly, I guess.
Yeah. So then other game modes is there's hoops, which is 2v2. You're on a basketball court, and instead of like a goal, like a soccer goal against the wall, there's like a large hoop on each end. So like it's a different play style because you have to hit the ball up in the air to like arc it into the hoop, which is completely different than just kind of shooting it into the side of a soccer goal.
Yeah, then they've got drop shot, which is, I love drop shot, but basically it is almost like volleyball in a way. So whatever team hits the ball last supercharges the ball. And then if you can get your charged up ball to land on their floor, it will damage their floor in a certain area. And then the second time you damage it, it creates a hole, like the floor tile drops out. And then if you can get the ball to fall through any of those holes, you score a point. So it's very much like aerial based because the cars are flying through the air trying to smash it down into the ground. But the ball will become like really supercharged over time. And so if it hits, it does a ton of damage. So drop shot's a lot of fun. And then they even come out with
There's
just
hockey.
They have a hockey mode in this game now?
Yeah. Todd
Wait, how's hockey different than the default mode?
Because
There's a giant puck. Yeah. It's hockey, Paul. Like, what do you mean?
Okay, so it's literally the same game, except it's just shaped like a puck, so it doesn't bounce.
And it doesn't
the
fly,
whole,
really.
You slide on the rink a little bit more because it's, quote unquote winter or ice on it. And then there's a puck that doesn't really fly through the air well, but it will like slide along the sides of the arena. And then, this is my favorite game mode because it's ranked. And I hit champion
Todd,
in this game mode.
Todd
I
got champion
the highest ranked
in this mode, and for the next like 2 weeks was just going around saying like, "Hey, is anybody else on the team a champion? Like, because I'm a champion, like I'm a champion," and then was just touting the fact that he was a ranked champion. And then I was like, "Wait, what?" And he wouldn't tell me that it was in the hockey mode that he was playing. Yeah, it was hilarious. This is why he says this is his favorite mode for sure.
I mean, but like, come on, like that's like I'm in not to brag, but I'm in like the top 0.1% of people who play this hockey obscure game mode.
Okay, so you guys are kind of bragging at your skills in Rocket League, and that's fine, but a little bit of a funny story here. When I jumped back into Rocket League, I was playing with you guys, and you get points in the game based on like scoring a goal or getting a save or getting a good clear. Basically, if you do anything positive for your team, they'll give you a couple of points, and it keeps track over the course of the game. We played a full round, and at the end of the game it said Paul, you have not received any XP for this match because you have not done enough to contribute to your team. I was trying my hardest the whole game. I don't know what this game was expecting of me. It literally thought I was like AFK, like I'm a bot trying to like just get free XP. I literally played 10 minutes of just chasing this ball around and apparently did nothing for the team. We did play a couple games, and literally halfway through I'd be like, guys, I have no points at all. I've done nothing in this match. I'll
say this, in Rocket League, hesitation kills you. Like if you play scared or you play in a hesitant mode, like if you wait, that like honestly, that's how you see progression with people, is because as you get better, you stop waiting for the ball and you start going to the ball. And if you sit there and wait, like somebody better than you is going to jump up in the air, fly at the ball, and hit it before you can. So that's where the skill gap comes into play.
But then it takes a while because you can see someone else going to the ball and you know how far you are away from the ball. So you have to judge how fast they're coming to how fast you can get there, and then just like hope that you get there first. So when you're first playing, you're like, oh, I can make that. Or like, I'm not sure. Okay, I'm just going to stay back. And then as you get more and more like sure on how fast you can get to the ball, or if you can beat someone, or if you can like at least challenge them like on getting the ball, then like you start to develop as a player. You start to like make blocks and like kind of go from there.
Yeah. One of the things I love about this is once you learn the technical side of this game, once you learn the aerial, the power slides and things like that, there is the whole like spatial awareness part of it that comes into play too. If you're playing 2v2 or 3v3, there's a whole rotation that you should be doing to be good at this game. As one guy is coming towards the ball, somebody should be coming back. I say it's like circling like sharks. You should just have this constant rotation going on to be really good at it. But that, it's the whole package. That's why you work on the technical aspect of it. You work on the spatial awareness, you work on the rotation awareness, all that stuff. And then you have to account for what the other team is doing on top of that. I love it. I think it's a phenomenal game. To me, it's the best sports game that like, honestly, I've ever played.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Better than FIFA?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can compare them.
All those other ones are like imitating a real life sport. So like when I play FIFA, like I play with the same strategy I would with like actually playing the sport of soccer. With this, like it's completely different. Like it's its own sport. It's not like imitating another sport, if that makes sense.
And the thing I love is matches are 5 minutes. Like this is a game that you can hop in. Honestly, you can hop in. It loads super quick. You find a match within probably 20 seconds of saying, hey, I want to play. You're in a match. 5 minutes later, boom, it's done. Don't get me wrong, you can play 20 matches in a row if you want to, but that's honestly one of the things I love about it is how easy it is to get into, play a match, boom. If that's all the time you got, you're out. It was a lot of fun, or you can play it for hours at a time. But it's very well done. They've done a really good job of making it accessible to all levels of people.
Well, that's a great point. You can play it on almost any PC. This is not a game that's very graphically intense or anything. They focused entirely on the gameplay. In that sense, it almost reminds me of like an old school Nintendo game or something. It's not amazing graphics, but it's amazingly well polished, super fun. You just play with your friends and it's a complete blast.
I think it's something worth mentioning. I don't think I've encountered a bug in Rocket League.
No, they've made tweaks to the physics of it, like how the ball bounces and stuff like that. But the game is insanely polished.
Like I've never been in a spot where the ball did something like insanely different than what I expected, or like my car did like glitched out or something like that, which I think is like, saying to what Paul was saying, like it's extremely well polished. Like it is an esports game.
You know what's funny is I remember when this game came out and it didn't come out to a lot of attention right away. This was one of those games that like flew under the radar and then became popular because it was garnering so much attention from people that picked it up and played it and was like, I just found like the funnest game ever. I remember I was the first person to buy this game and I reached out to a friend of ours and you, Paul, and said, I've just found the funnest game I think I've ever played. You guys have to get this game. You guys were both very intrigued. You were like, well, what is it? And I'm like, it's Rocket League. And you were like, Rocket what? And I was like, and I think you, Paul, you were like, yeah, I've heard of that. What is it? I started explaining it to you. You guys bought it. I mean, I think like 15 minutes later. I think I sold it so hard to you guys. But that tells you a lot about it. Is that if it wasn't highly touted, highly advertised, but it became so popular, it's the gameplay itself that makes this game what it is.
So I think it's obvious with us, like we highly recommend it. We like it a lot. Do you guys think like people in the community like it a lot? So Paul, do you want to walk us through some reviews, and then let's see if we can get close to the percentage of positive reviews?
Yeah, so I was browsing all the reviews here on Steam, copied a couple down, thought I'd read them to you guys to get your take on it. The first review that I copied here, I think, is the attitude a lot of people had about this game. It was a positive review, and they posted, "I hate sports games, I hate cars, I hate soccer, I'm in love with Rocket League, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it just works. When people hear the premise of this game and you hear rocket-powered race car soccer, people look at you funny. But it all just works. Like, if you haven't experienced it, it's incredible.
And it's like people who don't like soccer, they don't like soccer because it's slow. And Rocket League fixes that. Like, it's fast-paced soccer.
Yeah, it's not even really a sports game. It's just an arcade game. I mean, that's how I see it. So even people who hate sports and they hate sport games and they don't like racing games, this is kind of just its own separate genre. It doesn't really even fit in with those others. Even though it is so similar, follows a lot of the same rules of soccer, it does not feel like it at all. It's definitely its own entity.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the next positive review that I took down. One more game, loses match. I'll quit when I win, wins match. Well, I got to keep playing for this winning streak, plays another match. I'll quit when I get promoted, plays another match, loses match, cycle begins all over.
I actually wrote that review. So.
Do you relate to that, Josh? Yeah, it's definitely a game where you can get sucked in and you find yourself saying one more game, and it's kind of like the Civilization games are kind of famous for that. Next thing you know, it's 3 a.m. and there you are. This was actually a negative review that I really loved. This guy posted, "This game ruined my life," and he has 3,500 hours played.
Ooh.
So, it's a negative review, but I think we all understood what this guy was doing. I mean, that's insane. How many games do you see? I mean, if you scroll through the reviews, you would be shocked at the time played. I mean, most of the highest rated reviews, they're in 4 digits. It's pretty wild.
Do you guys want to know how many hours I have on this? Because that guy made me look at mine. Take a guess.
Yeah, go for it.
No, take a guess.
500?
I'm going to say
500's
6.
a lot.
This is easily my most played game. I don't know if I'm proud of this or not, but 1,022 hours.
Goodness.
That should tell you how much I love this game and how good of a game it is. Like, you guys know I'm a huge fan of Rocket League, so I'm not even going to hide it. You know what I mean? But it's like,
yeah.
I don't even know what my closest second game is. But this is easily my most played game. And I had no idea that I was in that 4-digit.
Dang.
Yeah. My only 4-digit game is PUBG, but yeah, Rocket League, I have 166 hours, although I think probably about 30 of those are AFK. But yeah, it's a great game. So even for someone like me who ultimately fell out of love with Rocket League, and it wasn't so much that I started to dislike the game itself, it's just that I'm just not good at it, kind of, fell out of favor for me. But really, it's a great game. I think anyone who picks it up will sink a lot of hours into it. All right, and then the last review that I have here, it's a positive review. Skip the replay. 10 out of 10.
Oh,
That's
man.
one thing that we haven't touched on. So one of the ingenious things about this game, at least I thought in the beginning, is after every goal, it shows you an immediate instant replay that lasts, I don't know what, maybe 10 seconds to watch it.
Yeah, about 10 seconds.
But over time, you realize how much of the game that actually eats out. So you can press A, and if everyone presses A to skip the cutscene, then it'll cut it and go right back into the game. And there's always one person that will not skip any of the replays.
I'll tell you what the criteria for that is. If it's your goal, you don't skip it. I don't. Hey, that's one thing this game does really well. When you score a goal, they make it like this huge ordeal. I mean, there's this huge explosion. All the cars go flying. It's just, it feels so good to score a goal in this game. And then it jumps right. I mean, immediately right after that, boom, here's your instant replay. So if you're the dude that scored the goal, everybody else is like, skip. And then you're watching it because you're like, oh man, look what I just did right here. Like, this is great. And then everybody's like, skip it. And you're like, no, wait, man, that's my goal.
Yeah. And like, even if it's a great goal, you're like, guys, look how amazing this goal was. But if it's a bad goal, be like, guys, this is so embarrassing. Watch this.
Yeah.
No matter what, you want to watch your own goal.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll carry on our tradition where we guess what percentage of all the reviews on Steam are positive. I wrote my answer down. I think I've kind of learned a little bit of strategy here. I'm going to let you guys go first. I'm not going to tell you what my guess was.
Josh, you're the winner.
I was going to say, as reigning champion.
Jeez.
And
yeah,
that's what I heard for 2 weeks when Todd played Snow Day. As your reigning champion, I am going to guess this game is phenomenal. I think people are going to love it. Maybe I'm biased. I'm going to say 88%. That's also a throwback to a certain car that can time travel.
Okay.
I'm going to go 93.
My guess was 93.
Uh-oh.
Dang it.
Oh,
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Tiebreaker.
Do you want to break the tie or just
No, let's share it.
you want to share it?
No, wait.
I
I don't like the way this is going.
We got to come up with a rule on the spot.
Rock, paper, scissors, man.
You just want to share it, Todd?
Yeah, yeah, let's share.
All right, we can share it. The actual 92%.
Oh, you guys both
won.
busted. I win.
No. So I guess that counts. That's a win for me and Todd. So I guess we're all tied.
Wait a minute.
We all have 2 wins.
I'm not sure this is legal.
That's how it works.
2v1.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Street rules.
That's fine. I'll
How
let it
funny.
stand.
We're all evened up. Everyone's
All
won
right.
too.
Well, 92%. Ooh. Oh yeah.
All right. Make, love, marry, or murder.
Mary.
Rocket League. Josh, you
Mary.
already jumped the gun.
Mary in this game. Marry me, Rocket League. Take me away.
You know what? I'm gonna cut you off there and just say, like, I'm also a Mary. I think it's obvious. Like, this is a game that you're gonna keep coming back to. It's like well worth playing. It's always gonna be a game that's fun with friends. Paul, where
I'm going to say
struggling.
Mary. I'm going to say Mary. And you want to know what? You want to know what? I'm the bad spouse in this relationship. The problem's me. The problem's not the game. Rocket League is fine. It does exactly what it promises and more. I have to admit the game's great. I don't know, the deadbeat husband who, just doesn't do what he needs to do to keep the relationship going. I mean, I feel like I could play this game 200 hours a week and I would not be as good as you guys. I don't know what it is, but the game itself is amazing. I have to say Mary.
Yes.
Rocket League deserves better than you.
It does. I am way out of my league with Rocket League.
No, it's
That is
just
totally
so funny.
fair.
It's funny the jump from Rust to Rocket League. Where Rust, it's like, I'm better than this game, but I keep coming back. And then Rocket League is the exact opposite, where this game's better than me, but like it'll always have me.
Yep.
That is hilarious. Paul, I'm so proud of you right now.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
All right. Do you guys think it's worth the price tag of $19.99?
That is one of the best deals you can ever get in a video game.
I totally agree. It's well worth $20. I think anyone can pick it up and have fun. I think if you're on a limited budget, like I know for me, a lot of times I have to base my video games based on how much bang for my buck. I think this game is near the top of the charts for that. You're going to get a lot of hours for such a small amount of money.
I completely agree. And this is one of the few games where I've paid for cosmetics because I play the game so much. And I'm like, you know what? It's another $5. I have 200 hours in this game. I'll gladly pay another $5.
Yeah, I'm with you, Todd. I don't think I've ever paid for cosmetics in any other game, but I'm the same way. I have bought keys to unlock boxes. They've moved to a blueprint system now, but I mean, I picked this game up when it was brand new at $19.99. That's what it actually released as. I mean, I have over 1,000 hours in it. I'm no mathematician, but that is one heck of a good deal. The developer's a good developer. They continue to try to improve the game. They're constantly releasing content and cars for it. I mean, to me, that's like me just tipping them and saying, hey, thank you for such a great game. Here's some money for some cosmetics, and kind of do it like that. So yes, you can actually get it on sale. It goes on sale from time to time. You can get it for like $12, I think. I think I've seen it as low as $9.99. That is just a no-brainer. If you have not played this game, you need to go get this game.
You've paid 2 cents an hour for Rocket League, Josh.
2 cents an hour?
You can't get any cheaper than that for entertainment.
Hot dog, that is a great deal.
That is hard to beat.
Yes.
All right, I think it's time. Let's go to the leaderboard and see where this game stacks up. So number 1, we have Apex, 2, Rust, 3, GTFO, and 4, Sea of Thieves. All right,
for
guys.
Me, I would slide it in right in the middle. I'd put it 3. I think you guys are maybe going to argue for it being a little higher, but I think it deserves that number 3 spot.
I love this game. I'm putting it number 1. I'll play Rocket League over any of those games any day. And it's not to say that the other games aren't great, but there's nothing that I can find fault with in Rocket League. From time to play, ease of access, noob friendly to pro esports ready. I mean, it is, to me, it's a perfect all around game. So I think it's number 1.
Are you talking about Rocket League or Apex?
Oh, no, I'm talking about Rocket League.
Because that sounded like Apex to me.
No, it did not. Don't you try to sway it. Todd?
So I'm conflicted. I love Rust more than anything. I thought last week Rust should be number 1. I wrote it into the script.
I remember
that Rust was our favorite game.
True.
And then putting Rocket League, which is a completely different game, and rating the games that I would play kind of in order, or what I would recommend people to play in order. It's under Apex. That's fine.
No.
I think it's in between 2 to 3 for me.
Yeah.
But, with Rocket League, I've definitely jumped to this game solo and played by myself for a couple matches and had a blast. And the highs are pretty high, but the lows aren't nearly as bad as Rust. You don't get the despair that you get in Rust.
You don't fall into a deep depression in real life when your base gets raided.
Yeah. And then your family's like, what's wrong with you? And you're like, I don't want to talk about it. So I'm going to put this in between you guys at 2.
I can live with 2. I don't love that ranking. I think Rust is far better, but I wouldn't cry about it. So I think maybe it belongs on 2 then. I think that would be the consensus.
I was going to say, if Todd says 2, I say 1, and you say 3, then that's going to average out to 2.
3, 4, 5, 6. So 6?
Divided by 3 people.
No, I'm just kidding.
Right? I already said I'm no mathematician here. Mathematicians out there, help us out.
Carry the 4. So we're going to 3 then. So we're going to bump down GTFO.
Well, no, 2.
No, it's 2. Don't you try to change it on us, Paul. Nice try. I saw you try to slip that in there.
Poor Rust. All right, that's fine. Whatever.
Number 2, it's official.
It's official.
I'm happy with that. It's going to stay there for a long time.
All right, well, that wraps up the leaderboard segment for our show today. If you want to review all of our rankings, you can find them on our site at multiplayerpodcast.com. It was fun hanging out this week and talking over Rocket League. If you're interested in more multiplayer podcast content, don't forget to subscribe to the Multiplayer Podcast on your podcasting app for new episodes. We're also on Twitter and Instagram. Just search for Multiplayer Podcast. Next week, we're going to take a look at RimWorld. Paul, tell them what next week is going to be about.
I am so excited to talk about RimWorld. RimWorld is technically a single-player game, but you can download a mod to make it multiplayer. It is a simulation game, so Josh, it's right up your alley.
Yep.
You get to take control of 3 survivors who have to fight some survival elements. You have to accomplish a mission of moving across the map and trying to get rescued. The game has lots of crafting, lots of fighting. It's in some ways kind of like The Sims, but with a lot of fighting. A lot of really crazy stuff can happen in this game. Josh has not played it yet. Todd and I have played quite a bit online. I can't wait to play it this week with you, Josh. This game is hysterical. I think it's going to be an absolute blast to talk about next week.
I have heard a lot of crazy things about this game, so I'm honestly really excited about it. I'm looking forward to some of the shenanigans that are going to happen for sure.
Yeah, it's a wild game.
Yep.
All right. See you guys next week.
See you guys. Play some Rocket League.
Paul, you're not going to say bye?
Goodbye.
Nailed it.